Alright guys, we're back. Right after the last time, the very first thing that happened, I died to the Chained Ogre. Obviously that's a disappointing end to that playthrough. I actually felt nothing. Somehow, you know, I'm not disappointed about it at all. I had a good time fighting my way up to that point. I think I can do it a little bit more efficiently, maybe even a little bit better this time. So I am gonna make notes on it when I do the editing for the videos so that you know, if you don't want to watch the other one, you can just skip ahead to here. And it's also been a really good practice for me, that first attempt, because not only am I training myself in the game, which is an important skill by itself, but I really do need to practice being able to talk while I am in game. And particularly in the more difficult fights, you know, I'm pretty silent. It's a little bit less exciting. Maybe if you're watching live, I would understand if it would be a little bit more interesting, but watching it, especially on YouTube or not live, you know, I don't know. There's certainly some games that I think that I would enjoy without any commentary at all, but this might not be one of them. So here we are. We're getting here actually in pretty good time. Minute 30. If you didn't watch the previous attempt, one thing you missed is a neat little trick here for protecting yourself. You could spend your gourd right here, and that's not, you know, the worst thing to do, but the better thing to do is actually just to use your homeward idol. And when we use it, I'm going to grab this pellet first, but when we use it, that's going to bring us to here. So since we haven't idled yet, there's 2 or 3 checkpoints in this area of the game when you're here for the prologue, and the first one is going to be, of course, just the place you started in, but this one's the second. Here we go. Find the secret passage and call him with the reed whistle. Check and check. Still moving on. I actually missed the death ball on this guy the first time, and I was pretty disappointed. So this time, you know, fuck you. I don't care about stealth here because these guys honestly don't warrant it enough. You can actually just R1 spam the entire crowd except for this guy. And I kind of want to get the deflection kill on him, but if he's going to be obnoxious about it, then, you know, of course, I could certainly learn to time it better. And typically I would sneak attack these guys, but as a Master Shinobi, they're just not worth the effort. That's all she wrote. Now I noticed you don't get any send from fighting these guys, and I also noticed that I've made several passes, I've made several attempts, but I've never successfully found a way to sneak attack this guy. And man, if I could, see, you can't get up that. There's no grapple hook. Right now there's no way to get around this. You just got to approach him straight from the front, and he's not difficult, but ooh, I say that's the first time he's hit me actually in. Oh, he's gonna do it twice. That's okay. We're still going to ruin his day. So, one trick I would say for this game is if you're spamming R1 quite a bit, down he goes. I'll let the music realize that. Yeah, calm down there. Very atmospheric soft tracks normally, and then out of nowhere we're screaming Japanese bagpipes at me. But R1 spam is pretty effective actually against a lot of enemies in the game. But if you're careful with your timing and you only time your R1s to actual attacks rather than just pressing it repeatedly and as fast as you can, you'll be able to interrupt it. So start the attack and right there, as long as you're not actually swinging, you can go back to blocking, and that's really useful for being able to make deflections. But if you pressed R1 half a dozen times and it has several attacks queued up, it typically won't let you do that. So there's just a bit of incentive to practice carefully. Now you notice I've used my gourd. My gourd seed is spent, and I want to be a bit. I want to have fun fighting Genichiro. I think he's a cool boss, and making a good cinematic on this beautiful like flower field, or they're probably weeds or something. I don't know, but I think that this early Genichiro fight is really fun, and it's the only time in the game where I have absolutely no consequence to dying. So I want to kind of have a good time with it. We're gonna really give him a run for our money. I've never beat him. I do know that it's possible. There's a different cutscene. It's basically, you know, just an immediate end to the game, and that was an embarrassing start. Let's see if I can. Oh man, opportunities missed. I'm always worried about that attack, especially. Oh, that was going so well too. Now see, why would the shinobi put his arm up instead of his sword? What a silly thing to do. That always looks like a Soul Calibur, you know, end of match animation to me, like Mitsurugi would do. Alright, here we are with the Shinobi prosthetic. We'll grab the light coin purse behind the building for some reason. Well, for some reason both why is it there and also why are we grabbing it. Maybe someday it'll be useful. But moving on, I think that I am kind of establishing an order for how I like to challenge the bosses. And just like last time, we're going to continue with the trend. We're going to the... we're going to go through this area first, of course, and then make our way to the Hirada estate, and then after finishing the drunkard, come back for Chained Ogre. Yeah, not really much to it. I know there's a few more guys I could kill here and, you know, get a little bit of early game experience and stuff, but frankly, it's not really worth a lot of the time. So, of course, the stealth gameplay in this early part of the game is really exciting. They do an interesting thing in this game. The game starts with you dying, which is a trope that actually really isn't used all that often. But the game starts with you dying, and then they put you up against a ton of enemies that are really easy. Ooh, that's unusual. I actually completely forgot about the marksman. Oh, I don't have the grappling attack yet, but that's okay. Those guys go down easy, and there's a bonfire immediately on the other side of this. And we get to fight some dogs, maybe. Nope, maybe not. Might as well. I don't actually... This headset, the microphone is good, and I like that it's not constantly unplugging on me, like my previous busted up headset was. But the audio quality is not fantastic for one, and for two, they're a lot less comfortable than my other pair was, so I am a little bit bummed about the loss. Planned obsolescence truly is a bitch. There we go. Warned me about perilous attacks. These guys, I don't know if they really are the first enemies that could do perilous attacks. Normally I feel like I do better against this guy. But that's all she wrote. And how cinematic would it be if his body would fall off the cliff? Actually, that's kind of funny anyways. His world literally got turned upside down the day he met me. Yeah, samurai versus shinobi duels. One feature I think, so I'm not like a huge scholar of it, and I'm certainly not like, you know, I have an appreciation for anime and an appreciation for a lot of other cultures, but I would not describe myself in any way as like weeaboo or as being like one of those kids, you know what I mean? But I will say that I have an interest in taking a look at historical assassins and information gatherers. Ooh, he hit me. That's unfortunate. Yeah, assassins and information gatherers and that sort of thing. And the Hashishin, which is the origin, I would say it's actually a Persian origin of the concept of samurai, or sorry, of ninja. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. I've actually already done it. Oh, that's not good. I kind of forget where. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about that guy. There's a merchant right there. There's items up on top of that building, and there's items in that building. I'll tell you what, I'll play it a little bit safe, even though I really don't have to. We'll play it safe. I'm gonna go catch the idol. Wouldn't it have been ironic to just sprint off that cliff, end of playthrough? That's what ended my last playthrough, was falling damage. If you fall to your death, it doesn't allow you to resurrect, obviously, because there's, you know, what are you going to resurrect on the side of the cliff? Which I guess would be no more janky than, well, A, resurrecting in the first place, but also B, resurrecting what the F, mate? I completely lost track of what I was saying. Moving on, let's select some items. Fuck you. And you. And you. That was pretty slick, if I do say so myself. Somebody just imagine the John Cena music, because this food is going down off the ropes. And let's just start getting into this group now. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I was trying to just dodge around him and go to assassinate this guy, who's the most dangerous foe in that group. Although I kind of made bitch work of him this time. Yeah, fun fact, contrary to what jokes we were making earlier, this is not going to be a family-friendly channel. We like our murder death kill, and we mistakenly. I would say that I have the vocabulary of a well-educated sailor, so you can expect me to drop the kind of F-bombs that would be the inspiration for a Fallout game. Now let's work our way up there. I do not remember how to get there. I don't see any obvious ways, but we're gonna... Now there's a grapple I see on the other side of that, lady. I highly doubt we can make this jump, and now that I've already fallen off that, I'm not going to try it. We're going to make our way to the bell chime that allows us to go to the Hirata estate. I'm not your son, but I'll take your bell. We're going to do the right thing by Buddha in this playthrough. Little item room in here, and not sure why it exists, but there's a... Oh! Well, that's exactly what I deserved. Oof. If I get killed by these effing roosters, we're gonna have a bad time. Maybe this is embarrassingly family friendly because I said effing right after that whole... can you put this guy out of his misery? No, that's unfortunate. Poor dude's just gonna suffer till the end of time. Well, that was not what I wanted to happen at all. That's right, we're working our way up to that. Okay. There we go. And we're up. A little disorienting, but we made it. He sells offerings, some sugars. Oh! He sells these firecrackers. That makes a huge difference in what I'm gonna do on this playthrough. That makes a huge difference in everything. That allows me to get it before Raging Bull, that allows me to get it before the Gatekeeper, the exciting dude who screams his name. I hope that guy isn't transient. You know what, just to be safe. I mean, ironically, at the very beginning of the playthrough I was saying, what the hell are the coin purses for? But we have our answer. They are absolutely for buying that. Now, my favorite, oh, that's right, I forgot about that too, but I am way too afraid to make my way over there at this time. Where is the next bonfire? You know, I'm gonna idle. Yeah, I'm gonna idle. We're gonna turn in what we got. We're gonna get our new prosthetic tools. Normally I would finish this area, but I'm just a little bit concerned because if I make a little mistake and I fall to my death right there, there's no coming back, and that would be a pretty disappointing end of the channel for a second time. Her name is Emma. She's a doctor. She made the healing gourd that you used, basically your Estus in this one. Yeah, she's pretty cool. Oh, that's right, I didn't talk to him the first time. I like that there's a kind of a female main NPC in this, that she's well educated. I think that feudal Japan might not have been quite the best time for all that. And that reminds me that earlier I was talking about not being a weeaboo, and about studying ninja and Shishin and I guess that aspect of the culture in a more historical context. And from what I understand, the ninja were, I mean, they have their own style and system of honor, I would say. They're not quite how they're presented of course, but it's also true to say that they typically used whatever tools were available to them, and there wasn't really as much a sense, from what I understand, of which tools were, you know, quote, honorable to use. So stealth is of course a viable tactic. They're often not as well equipped or not as able as the samurai would be, and certainly it's hard to break through samurai armor with katana, which are relatively weak metal. Okay. See, I can see it from here, but we're gonna have to make our way that way a little bit in order to get anything out of this. I'll go up. That moment of dramatic pause, always exciting. Let's get up here. Oof. I feel like there is a branch. But we didn't need it. We're just gonna fall straight in because we are shinobi. Oh, another one of those. That's what's in here. That's really nice. Right, let's make our way back through this area, and we're gonna continue on. Gaijin sugar, a little bit of stealth advantage, always nice. Normally this isn't the way I go, but I probably should change that, because being able to sneak up and get that guy out of the way. Oh, and it gives us black gunpowder, but I think for this stage of the game, more importantly, it allows us to really explore this area, which I typically don't do. Sometimes getting the timing on the R1 for that is a bit tough. So that was actually a case. You see, if you can rewind if you want, health versus posture. He was almost untouched, but we broke his posture very quickly just by using the by not R1 spamming, by being a little bit more patient with our presses of the button and only pressing it when it was time to actually swing. So little trick that's been super helpful for me. And I'm just scanning to see if there are any items around here that I don't remember from actually going through it on my playthrough. But now that I go this way, I don't think there are actually any items down there that are really worthwhile. Not that I remember. And this is a much safer route to get here, so in the future, when I inevitably die on this run and decide someday to do it again, I'm absolutely going to have to remember that. Oops. I didn't actually want to talk to them, I was just going to describe them. This guy doesn't sell anything useful until quite a bit later in the game. And even though it's just a scratch, Monty Python style, I think I'm going to, we're going to idle here. You see that little area, it's visible across the way there. There's a headless in there, and it's actually kind of a challenging area. So we don't want to go there too early. As far as shinobi arts, I'm actually not making great use of the McCree counter. I'm also not making good use of the whirlwind slash at this time. But just anything that's going to get us to healing with death blows is going to do wonders for our ability to stay in the fight for a long time. So even though it's only 24, I like to shoot 20 to 30 minutes. We're gonna wrap up episode 1 at the... Oh, interesting, it remembered the fact that that tutorial hadn't popped up yet. Even though this is only 25 minutes now, we're going to wrap it up with the start of the Hirata Estates. I'm just going to make sure. I think I've already fitted everything. Yeah, we're good. Great. Oh, that is so good. So, at the start of the next episode, we'll be in the Hirata Estate.